Leave your best comments below for a chance to be featured. People who could see but went blind, what's it like? Is it like being in perpetual darkness or something else? Oh, I can answer this. I had some neurological issues when I was younger. Once or twice this resulted in a brief but total loss of vision because my brain stopped processing the input from my eyes or something along those lines. It's nothing. You don't see darkness, it's just nothing. Best way to describe it would be like you're trying to see out of your kneecap. There's nothing to see because your kneecap isn't sending information about sight to your brain. Or it's like asking you to tell me how I look in the infrared spectrum right now. There's no real words to describe the sensation of lacking a sensation, because it's an oxymoron. Keep in mind too that there's different kinds of blindness. What I described is probably similar to the experiences of people who are born blind because of issues with their nervous system. Other people can go blind due to degeneration of the mechanics of the eye itself, which I'd bet is much different. I'm legally blind, not going blind. I have several friends who are going blind and they seem to fall into two camps. One, their brain tries to fill in the blanks in their blind spots and it's just a lightly blurred section that they know not to trust. Two, it's just blank, as if nothing is there, light or dark. They can't perceive anything particular there, as it's beyond their ability to see anything there. I lost an eye as a child. It is not darkness, it is nothing. What do you see with your elbow? That's what I see with my prosthetic eye. I'm legally blind in my left eye. It's a problem with how my eyes lined up as a kid, and my brain decided to ignore my left eye. I wore a patch on and off as a kid and had vision as good as 20/60 before it progressively got worse. I honestly hardly notice it. I had a pretty distinguished career in the military despite it, including shooting Top Gun often. I always felt bad because I could never do drills some people could, such as shooting with non-dominant hand, at least without some awkward head lean I suppose. Given that it is one eye, I just experienced the world crystal clear with my right eye. When I got metal in that eye, I drove to the hospital and it was incredibly brutal. I could see the red of a light but couldn't really gauge distance. I've posted this story a few times on Reddit, so if it sounds familiar you might have seen one of my earlier threads. My dog bit off my cornea once. Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one. I was sitting on the floor playing fetch with a hat. I decided we were done and put the hat on my head to stand up. Well, he wasn't done fetching yet, and he jumped for the hat. I leaned back, he missed the hat and grabbed my left eyeball. His teeth raked across the surface of my eye and tore the cornea off in a big shred. At first I was in shock and felt like something big was stuck in my eye. I couldn't even close it properly, so in a panic I rushed to the kitchen to wash water through it, thinking I had dog hair in my eye. Yes, it hurt, but the adrenaline was high. Once the water hit my eye, I could feel the tatters of the cornea tear off. At that point the pain went to 10. I screamed until I vomited, then blacked out. Woke up and vomited again and screamed all the way to the ER where they gave me painkillers. By far the worst pain I've ever experienced. Mind-shattering, relentless pain. Like a toothache where it's so deep in your head everything is pain, but so much more razor sharp compared to a toothache. Incoherent pain. I would argue you couldn't even use it for torture because it makes you mindless. So to the point of the thread, my bad eye was so sensitive that I couldn't just cover the one and use the other. The pressure from the muscles and moving it with the other caused far too much pain. So I wrapped my whole head and went blind for the month, or 3, it took for my eye to heal. I lived like a blind person for that time. The hardest thing to get used to was eating. I couldn't figure out how to get food onto the fork, and it was so disorientating to try and put the fork in my mouth. Even though you don't look at your food before taking a bite, you still subconsciously orient yourself, so that took some time to develop. I listened to a lot of movies I had already seen. Most days were spent just laying on the couch listening to old movies and seeing them in my head, which was really cool because I noticed so much different stuff. My absolute favourite was Big Fish because of how fanciful it was. It really made imagining it a lot of fun. As my eye healed, the pain let up and I could go with my head unwrapped. Then eventually I could open it without hurting. It was like looking through wax paper, everything was just white. Then it cleared out and I could see clearly, but there was a disparity between my eyes. Like my brain had forgotten how to line up the images, and my depth perception was totally f***ed. I actually got motion sick several times, and I remember taking walks around the block just for the practice of getting used to seeing again. Vision came back just fine, 20/20 and good as new. For several years the cornea wasn't attached very well, and if my eyes dried out at night I would tear it again when I opened my eyes. That would be another day or two in agony pain. Eventually that stopped happening too. Yo, it's Dash, thanks for watching another video of mine. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to let me know what you thought of today's stories. Personally, I barely made it through that dog story.